with Fly Credit Solutions, and what we do with Fly Credit Solutions is we help everyday hardworking people learn how to repair their credit. We help them with rebuilding and reestablishing their credit scores, and we also educate them about their financial literacy to elevate their overall financial understanding and secure a financial future that's secure for them and their family. Now, I'm so excited to do this video today because we've been having a really exciting finance week, and today we're going to just finish it all off by talking about your credit scores and your credit ratings. So I wanted to shout out Kenyatta. I wanted to talk about Kenyatta, let's see, Lisa, MJ, who else? So many people have been sharing so much great information, and we want to just finish everything off by talking about your credit scores and your credit rating. So today we're going to be talking about 5 credit score commandments that you need to know to secure 700 plus credit scores, and so that you can just move on with your life, because we all know that if you don't have pretty good credit, then you're going to kind of struggle in some areas in your life. I know me personally, I started this company because I was struggling with my credit. I wanted to become a homeowner, but I couldn't become a homeowner because my credit was standing in the way. And I decided to hire somebody to help me with that. And long story short, he didn't do too much of anything. So I learned how to do it on my own. I learned how to repair my own credit. I did the studying. I found the knowledge and I applied it. I fixed my own credit in less than a year. I bought my first house, and I've been able to teach other people how to do the exact same thing. So today we're going to be talking about that today. So we're going to be talking about 5 credit score commandments that you need to know to raise your credit scores and to rebuild strong credit. So the first tip that I want to give you all today is to make sure that you pay all of your revolving accounts and all of your installment accounts on time, meaning that you cannot pay anything over 30 days late. If you pay something 30 days late or more, you're going to take a really hard hit to your credit. Why is that? Because 35% of your credit score is composed of your payment history. So any loans, any accounts, credit card accounts, student loans, auto loans, mortgages, you have to make sure that you pay on those on time. Now, on time meaning that it cannot be anything longer than 30 days. So if you have a due date on a credit card that's due on the 1st of the month and you pay it on the 5th of the month, yeah, sure, it's late, and the credit card company will charge you a late fee, but it will not affect your credit unless you're about 30 days late. So if it's April 1st and it's due on April 1st and you pay it May 2nd, you're going to take a hit to your credit score. So that's something that you really don't want to do. Make sure that you keep your payments on time. The second tip that I want to give you all is to make sure that you keep all of your balances on any of your credit cards relatively low. And what I mean by low is 15 to 20% of your overall credit. So if you have $10,000 in overall credit limits on all of your credit cards, then make sure that you're not using more than 30% of that. So what's 30% of that? $3,000. Make sure that you're not using $3,000 of your $10,000 overall credit limits, because if you do, your credit scores are going to take another hit. Now, your credit cards have a inverse relationship with your credit scores. What that means is if you charge your credit cards up, your credit scores will go down. But if you pay your credit cards down, your scores will go back up. So that's something that you definitely need to know when dealing with credit cards, especially in college. When I went to college, I got a lot of credit cards. I got into a whole lot of credit card debt, and it was extremely difficult to get out of. I got it out of it eventually, but I know a lot of people that don't get out of credit card debt. So it's really important that if you're going to use credit cards, make sure you don't max them out. Make sure you don't pay them late, because if you do, your credit scores are going to suffer and you're not going to be able to reach a 700 plus credit score. The third tip that I want to give you is to make sure you're not checking your credit too many times. Sometimes people go and they're shopping for something, whether it's a car loan or maybe they're trying to get a credit card. But the last thing that you want to do is apply for something and get denied, because if you apply for something and you get denied, it's going to have an extreme negative impact on your credit. So make sure that if you're going to apply for something, make sure that you do your due diligence, do your research, and make sure that you have all the qualifications already put into place before you apply for an account, because you don't want to get denied. You want to get approved. And the only way you're going to do that is to make sure that you're prepared. So don't apply for any credit cards unless you know you're going to get approved. Don't pull your credit more than 2 to 3 times every year. If you pull your credit too many times, you're going to have too many credit inquiries. And credit inquiries, although each one hits your credit about 3 to 5 points each, if you're doing it too many times, your credit could suffer even more. So don't pull your credit reports too many times. Make sure that you're really careful about that. Only apply for things as you need them, because if you apply for too much stuff, then if a lender or a creditor were to pull your credit reports and they see that you're running your credit with all these different companies, they're going to think that you're looking for money. They're going to think that you're overextended. They're going to think that you need other people's money for whatever reason that is. Maybe you need it to pay bills. Maybe you need it because you're short on cash. Whatever it is, if you're running your credit too many times, lenders will take a look at that and they will deem you risky. That's the best way to put it. Another tip that I want to give you all is to make sure that you have a really good credit mix. 10% of your credit is based on the mix of your credit. So make sure that you have different types of accounts on your credit. So if you have student loans, that's an installment loan, which is good. Student loans are actually good for your credit. The problem that a lot of people face is that they start paying on them late. They start defaulting on them. And when you start defaulting on student loans, it's going to murder your credit scores. So if you're going to have student loans, make sure they're either in forbearance, make sure they're either deferred, or make sure you're at least paying them on time. Okay? Another thing is make sure that you even have revolving accounts. Credit cards are revolving accounts, and credit cards are not the devil, y'all. Some people tell me that credit cards are the devil and they don't want credit cards. Credit cards are one of the best things that you can have for your credit. So if you don't have any credit cards, get at least 1 or 2, because having 1 or 2 will position you so that you can have better credit, so that you can get approved for more, so that when a lender pulls your credit reports, they'll be able to see that you're able to manage other people's money responsibly. And if you're able to do that, they will not have a problem with giving you more. So make sure that you have a good mix of credit. If you have a mortgage, if you have an auto loan, if you have a student loan and a few credit cards, that's a really good amount of credit that you can use to establish strong ratings. Okay? The last tip that I want to give you to reach high credit scores is to make sure that you have not the types of accounts, but make sure that you're not using too much of your credit, if that makes sense. So if you have credit cards, then make sure you're not maxing them out. If you have a lot of debt, make sure you're at least paying it down, because yes, your credit history is really important. Yes, your limits and balances on your credit cards are really important. And if you start messing around with that, if you start charging your cards too high, if you start paying some things late, then you're really going to take a negative impact to your credit scores. Now, with that being said, I want to kind of give you all some credit score hacks that you can use to raise your credit scores even faster, or just to establish some positive credit. Now, the first tip that I want to give you all is make sure that you get a secured credit card if you have damaged credit, or if you're just trying to get your foot in the door. Secured credit cards are a really good way for you just to establish credit without having really good credit. Now, what a secured credit card is a way for you to establish credit using collateral. So you'll go to your bank. Let's say you go to Capital One and you tell them that you want a credit card, but your credit isn't that great. What you could do is you could put down $300 to $500 as a deposit, and then use that deposit as a credit line. So they'll give you a $300 to $500 credit limit on your credit card, depending on how much money you give them. And as you use the credit card responsibly, they'll give you your money back. And if they give you your money back, then your card will then become an unsecured line of credit. And unsecured lines of credit are awesome, and they'll even raise your credit limits. And when they raise your credit limits, that raises your scores. So look into a secured credit card. Discover has some secured credit cards. Capital One has some secured credit cards. Wells Fargo has a secured credit card. So check those out, because it's definitely a good option that you could use. Let's talk about rental history. You can add 2 years of rental history to your credit reports if you're renting, or if you plan on renting in the future. If you are already renting, then you can add 2 years of that payment payment history onto your credit reports. And 2 years of payment history will raise your credit scores about 30 to 70 points on average. So it's a really good option that you could use just to get some positive line of credit on your credit reports without a credit check. Another option that you could use is an authorized user trade line. So what this means is you can piggyback off of somebody else's good credit. So if your mom or your brother or sister or somebody that you know, trust, and love has a credit card that's been open for multiple years, it's never been paid late, it's not maxed out, you can ask that friend or family member to add you to that card as an authorized user. When they do that, that information will then report on your credit reports and will raise your credit scores. So it's really a good way for you to borrow. You can borrow good credit without having to get a credit check, without having to establish it yourself. Now, I'll put a disclaimer out here right now that you have to be careful with this, because I've seen situations where people have used this strategy, but the problem is that the person that added them to that line of credit, it was a bad line. The line of credit was maxed out, the line of credit had late payments on it, and it actually negatively affected that person that was added to that credit card. So make sure if you're going to ask someone to add you to their line of credit, make sure that they're at least paying it on time, make sure that it's not maxed out, make sure that it's not going to be charged off soon, because that can have a really negative effect on your credit scores, and it's something that you don't want to really find yourself in because you can't correct it because it's not your account. So you can add authorized users to your credit. It's a wonderful way just to piggyback off of somebody else's credit and just borrow some credit from somebody else that's already done the hard work already. And then the last tip that I want to give you all is to use this shopping cart trick. Now, the shopping cart trick is a way for you to get credit cards without a credit check. Now, this works with Victoria's Secret, it works with Overstock, it works with Wayfair, it works with Express, it works with a lot of different companies that are backed by Community Bank. Now, you can find this information on our blog at www.flycredit.com. That's FLYYcredit.com. Our blog is filled with a lot of amazing information that can help you take your credit to another level. But there is a blog on there that's titled, What is the Shopping Cart Trick? And it'll show you how to get credit cards through these companies without a credit check. Now, you can only do this online. You cannot do this by going in the store. So check out our blog, What is the Shopping Cart Trick, and try it out. Let us know if it works out for you. And I only suggest that you only apply for 2 to 3 credit cards using this trick, because what will happen is if you're opening up too many accounts at one time, it's going to have a negative effect on your credit. So just make sure that you're not applying for too many accounts, because if you do, it could definitely hurt you. Another thing that I wanted to touch on also is the age, the overall age of your credit. One thing that you don't want to do is close too many accounts, or just close any accounts at all. And a lot of people close credit cards accounts. One of the reasons why they do it is because they're frustrated. Another reason why they do it is because they just don't really understand how credit cards work. But do not close any of your credit cards. Never close a credit card, because if you do, you're going to lose history. You're going to lose credit age. And the only way you're going to make it to an 850 credit score, the highest credit score you can possibly have, is by making sure that you have at least 12 to 15 years plus of credit age reporting on your credit reports. So this is just really good information that you could use to start taking your credit to another level. I hope you all got a lot of great information out of this video, and if you do, feel free to leave a comment below, leave us some hearts below, and make sure that you're following these steps step by step. You can visit us online at flycredit.com, FLYYcredit.com. Sign up for our free Fly Credit University, because it has a lot of great information in there for you all that can help you with understanding how credit works, the insides, the entire mechanics of how your credit scores work. Because when I got into college, I wasn't taught about any of this. When I got into college, I fell into the credit trap, and I don't want to see you all fall into that either. So I want to thank the 40 Under 40 group for putting this together for you all to help to make sure that you're financially savvy, that you're literate, so that you don't make the same mistakes some of us have already made. We want to see you guys be successful. We want to see you all win. We want to see you all make money, save money, invest your money, because that's what's more important for you and your future. But again, my name is Jeri Toliver. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you next time. And I'll see you for the next finance week that we have.